Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. So glad to see you all here. Welcome. If you can come on in and grab a seat, we're about to start the program. Oh, nice and quiet. Look, very compliant. Start of school. I like it. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Land acknowledgement.
We'd like to begin this program by recognizing that while we gather at San Jose State University, we're gathered on the ethno-historic tribal territory of the Tamian Ohlone, who were the direct ancestors of the lineages enrolled in the Muwekma Ohlone tribe, and who were missionized into missions Santa Clara, San Jose, and Dolores. San Jose State University also desires to honor the military service of the Muwekma men and women who have honorably served overseas during World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraq, and who are still serving in the United States Armed Forces today.
All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, we made it. We're awake. All right. Well, my name is Andrew Wright, and I serve as the Senior Associate Vice President for Enrollment Management, and it is a pleasure to welcome you all here to Fall Address. So it's wonderful to see you all, and welcome back to the campus. And I will have to say, on behalf of enrollment folks and advising and all of those who have been around this summer, we're still trying to figure out when summer happened. The calendar says that June and July are gone, and they came and went, but it's been one long orientation, registration, financial aid deadline after another. So we like to think of ourselves as the unofficial year-round welcoming committee in enrollment and advising and registration and financial aid deadlines. So today's program is just that, welcoming, connecting, and getting excited for the year ahead. My role as MC is very, very simple. They couldn't give me anything too complex because I'm still very tired from the summer. But it's to invite you to take part in a few short moments of reflection and sharing. Nothing too heavy or formal, just a chance to connect with each other and remember why being a part of San Jose State matters. So before we celebrate all of our new Spartans who have joined us since January, I'd like to pause and reflect on what makes SJSU such a strong community. So I'd like for each and every one of you to think back on your own journey here. Who has made a positive impact on your SJSU experience so far? So it could be a colleague, it could be a mentor, an organization making a real difference, or somebody who helped you see things a little bit differently. So let's take a moment, and I would like for you to participate here. This isn't just an Andrew talking moment. If you had to tell a new Spartan, a new staff member, if you had to tell one person they need to meet or group they should get to know about, who would that be? Raise your hand. Anyone? Bueller. Oh, there we go. Right there. Who would that be? Union president. Okay. Anyone else? Who would you tell a new Spartan? Right there in the back. Yep, UKP. Wonderful. Peer connections, undergraduate advising and success. Very nice. Anyone else? Anyone? I can't see through the teleprompter. There you go. Academic Senate meeting, because you're going to learn some stuff. I like it. Right over here, I saw a hand. Oh, no, you're pointing someone else. Yes. Study abroad and away. Very nice. Well, if it was for me, I would say the Sammies. Yes, plural. The first one, Sammy Spartan. Why? Well, it's really full of energy, does push-ups in that suit. It's pretty fun. Follow him on all the socials. But the other Sammy would be Sammy Mansour. Is she in the room? Sammy? I think a few people may know Sammy Mansour, right? But why? Because she keeps the wheels on the bus and keeps them turning. And she's both a change agent and a problem solver. So if you've got a problem, she's the one to get to know because she can help you fix it or at least help you get on the right track. Very nice. All right. So right now, I'd like to invite Dr. Mark DeLarco and Dr. Mari Fuentes Martin for new staff introductions.
Thanks, Andrew. Good afternoon, Spartans. I'm Mark DeLarco, the Interim Vice President of Research and Innovation, and it's a privilege to help kick off this moment in our fall welcome, where we celebrate the newest members of our Spartan community. Since January 1st, 2025, over 200 remarkable new colleagues have joined San Jose State University. People whose ideas, expertise, and education will shape our future. Whether they are teaching in classrooms, labs, or studios, conducting groundbreaking research, mentoring students, or supporting the services that keep this university thriving, each of them is now a part of something bigger, our shared mission to prepare students for meaningful lives and careers and to drive innovation and discovery here in the heart of Silicon Valley. One of the things I love about SJSU is that our momentum is collective. It comes from every person who invests their talent and passion into this place. To our new faculty and staff, you are joining an institution with a proud history of being a place of firsts and a community that's forward-focused. You are stepping into an ecosystem where collaboration is our strength, where ideas cross disciplines, and where your contributions will have a lasting impact, both with our students and our communities. And now, to share why your arrival matters so much to our students and to the heart of this campus, I'm pleased to welcome my colleague, Vice President for Student Affairs, Mari Fuentes Martin.
Thank you, Mark, and good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos. In Student Affairs, where we see every day how staff and faculty shape the lived experiences of our students, the people we welcome today will be part of creating the belonging, encouragement, and support that helps Spartans persist, graduate, and go on to make their mark in the world. Okay, talking to the microphone, Mari. Your decision is to join SJSU means that you've chosen to be part of something deeply meaningful. You will influence not only what students learn, but also how they feel about their place here. Whether it's in the classroom, in a residence hall, or on an athletic field, or in one of our many student programs. Our mission is about transformation. Every conversation, every problem solved, every door you open for a student adds to that transformation. And we are so glad you are here to bring your talents, perspectives, and passions into the life of this campus. On the screens, you will see all the names of our faculty and staff who've joined us since January 1st, 2025. Mark and I thought we were gonna have to read all the names. And it's like, oh my gosh. If you're here today, please stand, and if you're able, so that we can recognize you. Please stand. New faculty and staff. We really are glad to see you here. It means a lot. So we're thrilled to have you part of our community, and we look forward to the many ways you will help us shape the future of San Jose State. Welcome to the Spartan family. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our Staff Council President Chair, Harish Chander.
Thank you, Mari, and thank you, Mark. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a true honor to join you today at San Jose State University Fall 2025 Welcome Event. On behalf of San Jose State University Staff Council, I extend a heartfelt welcome to each of you as we embark on the new academic semester filled with endless possibilities and opportunities. I would like to begin by extending a warm welcome to our returning faculty, staff, and students, and to those joining our Spartan community for the very first time, an exceptionally heartfelt welcome. You are now part of a university with a rich history, bold vision, and a powerful sense of purpose. This marks an exciting chapter in your academic journey, and we are committed to providing you with an environment that fosters your hopes, your dreams, your ambitions. I also want to thank Madam President for her leadership, for setting the tone for this new academic year. Her commitment to collaboration, innovation, community continues to shape a bright future for all of us at San Jose State University. She is basically the captain of our ship, and we are just trying to keep up. I also, as chair of the Staff Council, I have the privilege of working with an incredibly dedicated group of staff members from across the campus. The Staff Council exists to ensure that staff voices are heard, supported, and valued in the decisions that affect our university community. We are your advocates, your collaborators, and most importantly, your colleagues. This fall, as we return to our campus and offices, I'm reminded of the resilience, creativity, and dedication that define our campus community. Whether it is supporting students through advising, maintaining our beautiful campus grounds, running our operations, or innovating behind the scene in the departments and labs, staff are the backbone of San Jose State University. We show up every day, ready to serve, problem solve, and move our institution forward. SJSU is steadfast in its commitment to providing our students with the best possible educational experience, and our staff are fundamental to this. We continually invest in our campus facilities and resources to ensure that our students have access to the state of learning environments, a commitment tirelessly supported by our dedicated staff. Seriously, we are the ones who are keeping the lights on and the Wi-Fi humming. You're welcome. Our goals for this year are clear. We will continue to strengthen communication, transparency between staff and university leadership, because who does not love a good chat about how things are going? We are committed to fostering opportunity for professional development and recognition, and will focus on cultivating a positive, inclusive workplace culture that in which everyone can thrive. We want everyone to feel like they belong. We look forward to working with our faculty, student leaders, and administration to foster a campus environment grounded in our shared values of equity, service, accountability, and excellence. At SJSU, our faculty, staff, and administration are dedicated to helping students thrive and reach their full potential. Together, we form a vibrant, diverse community of scholars where knowledge is valued and celebrated. To all the staff members all the new staff members in the room today, welcome. We encourage you to get involved in Staff Council, whether that means attending meetings, joining a committee, or simply reaching out to share your ideas and experiences. Your voice matters, and we want to hear it. Seriously, do not be a stranger. Unless you're bringing us food, free food, then by all means, be a friendly stranger. As we begin this new academic year, I invite all of us to recommit to our mission, not just as individual or department, but as a unified Spartan community. Together, let's make fall 2025 a season of connection, growth, and purpose. and maybe a little bit of fun, because all work, no play makes for a very dull Spartan. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak today. I'm proud to serve as your staff council chair. I'm looking forward to everything we'll accomplish together this year. Let's embrace this fall semester at San Jose State University with excitement and determination. Go Spartans! Welcome to fall semester of SJSU. Now I would like to invite our Senate Chair, Tabitha, to the desk.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Tabitha Hart. I'm a professor in the Department of Communication Studies, and I'm the brand new Academic Senate Chair. Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm here today to tell you all a little bit about the Senate, but even more importantly than that, I want to make a case to all of you for why you should get involved with the Senate and how you can do that right away. So first, a little bit about academic senators. They're just like you. The majority of academic senators are faculty members, but the Senate also includes administrators, students, and as of this academic year, staff members. Yeah. That is a significant achievement. Staff are now included on the Senate as a direct result of collective efforts spanning years of advocacy and dedicated work. It's a big achievement. All senators are there to represent you, your colleges, your units, as the work of the Senate gets done. So let's talk for a moment about the work that senators do. The main job of our academic senate is to create policy recommendations. And as you all know, our university policies impact so many foundational aspects of our day-to-day lives at SJSU, including things like retention, tenure, and promotion, academic freedom, general education, accessibility, and so much more. The through line here is engagement. The Senate achieves its work through people coming together to ask hard questions, to discuss the issues at hand, and senators argue with one another. They debate, they deliberate. As you can imagine, this is a very intense and sometimes very messy business, but it works. And SJSU's Senate does it extremely well because all of our senators, regardless of their roles or their positions, have an equal voice. And underlying all of this, in our Senate, there is a foundation of collegiality and respect. Senators bring different viewpoints and experiences to the table, and that is a very good thing. Expertise is respected in the Senate. Research is respected. Careful, reasoned arguments are respected. And our senators put their own self-interest aside to collectively author recommendations that they judge to be for the good of the whole, and not just good in the now, but ideally good for those who come after us. If this sounds appealing to you, then there is a place for you on the Senate, and the Senate needs you. So what I'll leave you with today are 5 concrete, impactful ways for you to engage with the Senate. First, read communications from the Senate. I know that sounds very elementary, but really that's the best way for you all to stay informed on the Senate's current work. Second, share your feedback with the Senate. All policy recommendations are drafted through a multi-step process, and your input is valuable all along the way. Third, if you know of a topic or an area that seems to need a policy solution, then you can submit a referral to the Senate. Fourth, consider that your senators have speaking privileges at Senate meetings, and they can ask questions on your behalf. So provide your questions and concerns to your senators or to the Senate office. Finally, and this is the most important, please apply to serve on a Senate committee. Most of our open seats will convert to faculty at large seats after August 26th, which means that they'll be available to any faculty member, any rank, any college. So please apply. The SJSU Senate website is your portal for all of these actions. Visit our website to find out about Senate vacancies, application forms, Senate meeting materials, referral submission forms, contact information of your senators, and so on. So that concludes my remarks. Sorry, I want to say the last thing. We can all take pride in SJSU's Academic Senate. And it's an ongoing and vital conversation that needs your voice. Thank you so much for your support, everyone. And now it's my pleasure to introduce someone I have the great privilege of working closely with, united by our mutual dedication to San Jose State. Please join me in welcoming our university's 31st president, Dr. Cynthia Teniente Matson.
Well, good afternoon, Spartans. Good afternoon. I am absolutely delighted to welcome you. Can you feel the unmistakable energy that comes with the fall semester? Fresh beginnings, new students, we saw a lot of them today, new ideas, and renewed purpose. I sure can feel it. And I am delighted to share the stage with Academic Senate Chair Tabitha Hart, who we just heard from, and Staff Council Chair Harish Chander. Tabitha, thanks for continuing to lead with such conviction about the future of SJSU. And Harish, thanks for your efforts to pull and uplift the activities of our Staff Council. I want to start by acknowledging last academic year's success. The QR code on the screen links to a recap of our accomplishments from last year. With an eye towards momentum, today I'll share our institutional priorities and engage you in what's to come over the academic year. On February 13th, last few months ago, we earned the Carnegie Classification designation as an R2 institution, launching the next chapter. That's right. It's our first time to celebrate together. This has launched the next chapter at San Jose State. So today I'm going to invite you to join me in interrogating this moment, what this inflection point means, using what John Dewey refers to as a reflective practice. What does it mean to be a national research university? At its core, a national research university is about possibility and discovery. Of course, we have a technical definition, but possibility starts in places that spark the generation of knowledge, like classrooms and laboratories and studios. Learning and discovery occurs when we solve real-world problems through innovation and entrepreneurship. All of you also foster creativity and cultivate the mindsets needed for civic responsibility and meaningful dialogue. And boy, do we need that now. As we welcome the fall semester, our collective momentum reflects more than just optimism. It reflects action. So I ask you to join me in this critical reflection as I share presidential priorities. If being a national university is about shaping the future, then we must begin where it matters most, with our students. That's why our holistic student engagement, assuring that every student thrives in every part of their journey, remains the top of our priorities. Everything we do is to ensure that students graduate timely and are prepared for the next chapter of their lives. The WASC special site visit commended our campus for, and I quote, a shared university-wide commitment to student success as demonstrated by improving student persistence and graduation rates, end quote. Chancellor Garcia has amplified the graduation focus system-wide as part of the CSU's collective systemness. Vice President Mari Fuentes Martin is leading our efforts to strengthen student engagement and ensure students are thriving all across campus. So as we celebrate a one-year anniversary at Spartan Village on the Paseo, the Division of Student Affairs has the benefit of building on positive momentum and enhancing the student residential experience. Look at that sign that just went up this weekend. Across our campus, students are increasingly engaging in leadership programs, career building experience, and hands-on research. This year, in fact, we have our incredible student leaders from AS, led by Caitlin Gambarin, and the Cal State Student Association voice of all CSU students being led by not one, but two SJS students. Tara Al-Rahini, their new student body, or their new president, and Artur Gafarov, their VP for Finance. To maintain our momentum, we've reimagined how we deliver support by relocating key student services, aligning global engagement with student affairs, and renaming the location at Student Union West, that's right back here, Student Support and Global Engagement. So these changes are more than logistics. They reflect intentional, holistic engagement and the transformative power of a national university preparing students for a dynamic global future. And preparing students for the future doesn't stop with engagement. It's deeply tied to academic rigor and relevance. We must ensure our academic programs evolve with equal intention. That brings us to another priority, academic excellence. I'm pleased to share that over the summer, our long-awaited campus facilities master plan was approved by the Board of Trustees, providing a renewed path forward to revitalize our facilities. That's right. Our facilities, our grounds, and our space is always intended to support our core academic mission. In fact, today I'd like to take a moment and introduce our new Senior AVP for Facilities, Maria O'Callahan Cassidy, who joined us this summer. Where are you, Maria? There she is. Welcome, Maria. She's got a big job ahead of her, and we're excited to have her here. So as we reflect on the R2 designation, it also suggests formalizing the growth of our academic programs and all the affiliated support that's needed. So this fiscal year, I'm launching an academic master plan task force under the leadership of Provost Vincent Del Casino. The intent is for this plan to build on the amazing work that is already taking place and guide our investments to address the future of this amazing region's workforce and society. And will answer a core part of our guiding question. What should a national research university educational experience in Silicon Valley offer? Now, I want to turn to another pivotal moment, our recent WASC special site visit results. Will everyone in the room who was involved in this important process, please rise. There was a lot of you. Please rise if you were part of our WASC special visit, our team, our task force. Thank you. Thank you very much for your efforts. On July 11th, we received the Commission's response with 5 recommendations, implying that we maintain momentum with efforts already in motion. This year will be focused on alignment across all of our plans, including the new academic master plan, and the intent for the 2028 full review is to earn the best possible outcome, a full 10-year reaffirmation. Yes, we're putting it out there and we're going to speak it into existence. I am happy to announce that Dr. Magdalena Barrera will assume the responsibility of the ALO and will work closely with the President's Cabinet and our university community. Thank you, Magdalena. WASC also commended our university for, and I quote, positive change through integration of campus-wide initiatives, end quote. We are a great institution because of you. The talented, dedicated people who make SJSU thrive. Our People-Centered Excellence Initiative is now evolving into people-centered practice. And this shows that real change happens when it's shaped by those who live this work every day. This is about you. You ensure our students are successful, and the best way to improve ourselves is through your expertise, your experience, and your ideas. So with the evaluation phase complete, we're now into implementation. Let's learn a little bit more about it.
Hi, I'm Sammy Mansour. As many of you know, I work with Provost Del Casino in the Office of the Provost and lead our team, Academic Business and Strategic Operations, or as we call it, ABSO. Over the past year, I have been part of a dedicated group preparing for a major shift with our People-Centered Excellence Initiative. Now, we are excited to move into the next phase, the People-Centered Practice, or PCP. At its core, this is about creating a better working environment for all of us. We want to make processes more efficient, experiences more seamless, and help everyone do their jobs with fewer barriers. We have now identified several areas where we can improve how we work in university personnel and business and finance. These improvements will touch nearly every employee on campus. We have already started work in two key areas: onboarding and recruiting, and position management. We will be sharing more about this work soon. But the reality is that lasting change isn't something we do for people, it's something we do with people. That's where you come in. We've had great conversations across campus, and now we're ready to go deeper. We want to truly understand where the friction is. What slows us down? What feels harder than it should be? And where can we do better? We're counting on your honesty, your ideas, and your partnership to help us create meaningful change. Our PCP intranet site is your space to suggest ways we can improve future projects and keep a steady flow of feedback going. While we're a small team and still balancing our regular day-to-day responsibilities, we want you to know your input matters. We may not be able to act on every suggestion right away, but we'll always confirm we've received it. As new committees are formed to take on upcoming improvements, we'll reach back out if your idea is next on the list. Together, we can build something better, one step at a time. So as we move ahead, please continue to share your pain points, your suggestions, and your feedback. Building a culture of continuous improvement doesn't happen overnight. It's about all of us working together, and I know this is so absolutely possible. I've been a part of the campus community for nearly 23 years, and I can honestly say I've never felt this kind of energy and commitment around process improvement. To see this level of support from the President's office, across divisions, and throughout our campus community is not just exciting, it's inspiring. This is a rare moment, and I am really proud to be a part of it with all of you. How well we succeed depends on all of you. You are the agents of change that we need. Thanks for being a part of this, and we'll keep you posted every step of the way.
Thank you, Sammy, for your leadership. So we're maintaining this momentum in 2 key areas. You see the QR code to simplify administrative processes and embed the inclusive excellence framework in our campus culture. In fact, later this fall, we're going to launch our Sense of Community survey led by Dr. Kristen Dukes. I ask that you take this opportunity and engage with the survey. Speaking of climate, I have to acknowledge the realities that we're navigating together. The world around us, including the higher ed community, is impacted by federal policy shifts, which are creating organizational change and, for some, personal uncertainty. I've talked with people who have expressed fear, anxiety, and doubt. As I've heard their stories, I'm reminded of several things. This is a time for us to lean on our strengths, to lean on each other, and remember our superpower. Spartans take care of Spartans. Now, we might not have all the answers, but we know we can face the challenges together. Here's what I do know. We're anchored in our place, we're anchored in our purpose, and as a community, we're grounded in care. And as a campus, I'm asking you to join me in living our values. I ask all of you to help each other remain well. We have a lot of positive momentum on our campus, and our students need a positive, nurturing environment that all of us and our colleagues create together. Our leadership team is committed to people-centered practices and a culture where every person feels supported and valued. But even as we elevate our people, we have to ensure our institution has the resources to sustain them. So let me now turn to one of the most important priorities that underpins all of our ambitions, and that is a financially sustainable budget model. I'm pleased to share that we're again starting this year with a balanced budget. But we must approach the road ahead with cautious optimism. The broader economic landscape in California continues to shift, and we must be, and we are, prepared for fiscal uncertainty. The Budget Advisory Committee will remain engaged and proactive in their sound advice to me. Our focus now is twofold. First, to maintain a financially sustainable budget model with disciplined planning and disciplined spending. And second, to rebuild our campus reserves to safeguard our long-term fiscal health and our institutional agility. So there's a lot to discuss here, and I invite each of you to engage in this important conversation by joining us at the Fall Budget Town Hall on September the 16th. As a teaser, our financial picture is a tad more optimistic because of our strong enrollment. Thank you to Andrew Wright and everyone in the Enrollment Management Division for your exceptional work to land the largest incoming class to date. And Vice President Judy Nagai has led us to another record-breaking year in philanthropy at $28.7 million, a 15% increase over last year. These wins belong to all of our collective efforts, and I want to give special thanks to the teams whose daily focus makes them possible. Thank you to everyone, especially those in enrollment management, financial aid, the Welcome Center, all of our development officers, our development team, alumni, all of our alumni engagement team. Thank you so much. And I'd like to give a loud Spartan shout out and thank you to Stan Nozick for his service as Interim Vice President for Admin and Finance. He was here throughout the spring. And following a successful national search, I'm excited to welcome Catherine Coyotes, who will begin her tenure as our VP for Admin and Finance and CFO on September 1st. She's here today. Welcome, Kathy. Now, no conversation about the future can avoid the transformative emergence of new technologies sparked by machine learning and large language models, including artificial intelligence. The future won't wait for us to catch up. Our fifth priority is AI everywhere, and this reflects a forward insight into ethical, interdisciplinary, human-centered innovation that defines what it means to lead as a national research university. This year alone, we hosted an inaugural CSU-wide AI for Social Good showcase. We launched an AI-focused student hackathon in partnership with tech leaders and our city government, and we partnered with NVIDIA for a student-focused GTC. And we hired the CSU system's first AI librarian. And just a few weeks ago, we added 27 faculty across the university with expertise at the intersections of artificial intelligence and their respective disciplines. We now have over 100 faculty working on issues tied to the future of AI and its social, economic, and political impacts on our society. And our cross-campus AI committee is actively advising our progress. These few examples should reflect an intentional effort to elevate partnerships with tech companies, ensuring that every Spartan builds AI proficiency alongside their discipline. Our academic programs, including those emerging from the new College of Information, Data, and Society, and I saw Murdad here somewhere, our new dean, they are catalyzing our opportunities. Where are you? There you are, Murdad. Thank you. Dean Al-Sagari. And I also serve as the president's representative on the CSU AI Workforce Acceleration Board, which was just recognized by Governor Newsom through a statewide MOU. So today I'm announcing an Adopt AI initiative, a university-wide effort to integrate AI into the heart of our operations and to empower our community to use the tools and frameworks responsibly and ethically. So under the leadership of VP Bob Lim, we will continue our efforts to upskill as we adapt our workplace practices. Last year, in fact, in partnership with Google, we launched a pilot integrating Google Gemini into our work, creating practical use cases. As we look ahead, I ask you to reimagine how we use AI in our daily administrative operations. We're modeling what it means to be a national model for interdisciplinary, human-centered AI education, and we're just getting started. This is how national research universities lead. How we lead is also directly correlated to how we listen and communicate. Great institutions are built on great conversations, and to that end, we're reimagining how we stay connected, informed, and inspired. Tomorrow, we'll debut the new Spartan Messenger, a platform that will simplify and elevate important updates, spotlight great work, and foster a sense of community. Think of it as a campus-wide one-stop shop for employee info. Every Tuesday, you'll receive a Spartan Messenger in your inbox. Please join me in making Spartan Messenger a vibrant and engaging tool for our entire university by contributing your stories, your updates, and your ideas. And just as communication is key to connection, shared governance is key to collaboration. So in the spirit of continuous improvement and in response to the WASP recommendations, I remain committed to uplifting shared governance. That's why I'm announcing a new task force on shared governance, and their primary focus is to clarify the roles and understanding of shared governance at SJSU. And I'm excited to hear from our panel later on in the program. But this task force will build on the sense of a Senate resolution back from 2015. Of course, we're not just a university in San Jose, we are of San Jose. As a research university anchored in place, we have a unique responsibility to engage with our community in ways that uplift everyone. Today, and later tonight, downtown is glowing with the vibrant Alabrijas in San Jose installation. These colorful creations light up at night and are worth seeing before they leave. I know several faculty have already incorporated them into their syllabi. This is just one example of the cultural richness of our city. So Mayor Mahan is referring to 2026 as Sportsageddon. The city of San Jose will be a vibrant hub hosting official events for the Super Bowl next February and the 6 FIFA World Cup matches between mid-June and early July at Levi Stadium. This fall, right here, we're supporting Spartans in competitive play across all of our fall sports and rec activities. In fact, let's take a minute to check out the new video, which will be featured on national broadcast.
At SJSU, every sunrise sparks your purpose. Purpose, ignited in the classroom, on the field, through Silicon Valley internships, academics, teamwork, and research. And our community of care means that every Spartan is valued and supported. So tell me, are you Spartan ready?
And next spring in March, SJSU is going to host the NC2A Men's Regional Basketball Tournament. So I ask you to check in with Jeff Konya, our AD, or Jen Maluta or Ryan Ward, as we stay engaged with the City of San Jose and the Bay Area Host Committee. So this year is about momentum, maintaining it, building on it, and channeling it, which brings me to this. This pinwheel is absolutely a child's toy. But today I want you to think about it as a symbol of what powers our institution. It spins when there's momentum. Just like SJSU, we're leading that momentum and we're responding around it with a spark, a force, a push. Metaphorically, that spark is you, your leadership, your contributions to our entire ecosystem. Our institution responds to the forces around it. But the spark that maintains the momentum is you. So as I think about presidential priorities for the year, I'm thinking about the question, what does it mean to be a national research university in the foreseeable future? It means we're generating the momentum that defines what's next. We are the epicenter of the future with a unique catalytic geography to create the blueprint for tomorrow. It means our students have the knowledge and mindset to change the world. It means our faculty and staff remain at the leading edge as experts, as innovators, as mentors, and champions for student success and justice. And it means that all of us working together keep our pinwheel spinning, accelerating our momentum as one of the most future-focused institutions in the entire nation. So as we launch the year ahead, let's carry this question with us, not just in our meetings or in our classrooms, but in our everyday decisions at your desks. What does it mean to be a national research university? And how can I help shape that answer? Because the answer and the momentum depends on us and the acceleration that we generate together. Thanks for being part of this journey. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be a momentous year. Welcome back.
I don't know about you all, but I'm really excited about the fall. Are we excited about the fall? All right, I had a speech written out, but they gave me the red card, so we're just going to go straight to the next thing. I'm going to invite Dr. Magdalena Barrera, the inaugural Vice Provost for Faculty Success here at San Jose State.
Okay, hi everyone. Again, my name is Magdalena Barrera. I'm Vice Provost for Faculty Success. And maybe you're watching us come up here and think, oh no, a panel discussion. When we got our drink tickets, I was like, is there some wine attached to these? And they said yes. So we're gonna, don't worry, stick around. We're gonna keep this focused. Yes, we're keeping the momentum going. And this is gonna be an interactive discussion. And before I introduce my esteemed panelists, joining me up here, I want to do a little bit of context setting for the conversation that we want to have and want to invite you into. So we want to talk about what does shared governance mean, not just as a general abstract comment or concept, but rather for us, specific to SJSU. What does shared governance mean at SJSU? Today is marking the beginning of a much longer conversation that we're all hoping to engage in together here on campus to explore this really important question together. So this discussion doesn't come out of nowhere. There's a specific reason for it, and it has to do with our WASC recommendations. And again, if you're new to San Jose State, our accrediting body is the Western Association for Schools and Colleges. That's WASC, W-A-S-C. They shared a report following their visit that's posted online, and if you haven't checked out their full letter, I encourage you to do so you have more of the details of what's driving this. But one of the things they encourage us to consider as a campus is to clarify the roles, responsibilities, and processes so shared governance is consistently understood and practiced across the university. Before we jump into this discussion, I want to say that there is going to be a voice missing here, and that's the voice of students. We've got staff and faculty perspectives today, and students are also integral to the picture of shared governance and how we experience it on this campus. But because this is a faculty and staff welcome back, that is why we have the panelists that we have here today. Your input is going to lay a strong foundation, and one thing I want to say is, I have some prepared questions for our panelists, and as you listen to what they have to say, I want to invite you to hold on to, make note of, things they say that you find really interesting, maybe confusing, a follow-up question you may want to ask, something that can help us continue the discussion, because after we hear from them, we want to hear from you. So that's a little bit of context. Get ready. I still have my professor roots. Everyone, get your pens and notebooks. You've got some homework as you listen right now. But let me go ahead and introduce my colleagues. First, we have Kelly Masijian, who is an academic senator and also a senior career counselor, the Career Center. Welcome.
Thank you.
I love it. You got your people. Priya Raman, who is also an academic senator as well as professor of communication studies, director of assessment at SJSU, and chair of the Accreditation Review Committee.
Thanks for having me. That's an old picture.
And finally, Garrick Percival, who is professor and department chair of political science.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so my first question to the panelists is, shared governance, right, to put this in quotes, is a term we hear a lot about in higher ed. And in fact, up here on the screen, you will see two definitions, one from the American Association of Universities, oh my God, what's the P? AAUP, okay, I forget. Okay, professors, maybe that's important for the Vice Provost for Faculty Success to know. Okay. That is one definition, and then we also have one generated by a Sense of the Senate definition here on our campus, and you can look those over. But shared governance is a term we hear a lot about, but I want to ask the panelists to please share, what does it mean to you? How might you describe this concept to someone who's new to SJSU, maybe new to working in higher ed, or even someone who's been here a while but is like, never really had a conversation about this concept? And can you give an example of maybe how you have personally engaged in shared governance here on our campus?
I guess I'm up first. So good afternoon. So I have been at San Jose State since November of 2017. And I had been here about a year when I got a notification, as everyone at that time would have gotten, about a general unit senator vacancy. And I said to myself, well, all of this language talks about faculty, and I'm not sure if I just got this because I'm here at San Jose State. So I reached out to Eva Joyce, the Academic Senate administrator at the time, and I said, okay, I got this, but is this me? Like, am I eligible for this? And she said, oh, absolutely. At that time, General Unit included SSP 3s and 4s, and all of the career counselors at the Career Center tend to fall in that bucket. There are some SSP 2s, but I go down a rabbit hole. So I confirmed that this was a space that I could be in, and so I went to my supervisor and I said, hey, I confirmed that this is open to SSP 3s and SSP 4s. We should have somebody from the Career Center get on the Academic Senate, because that would give us access to faculty across the university and raise our profile. And she said, well, that's a great idea. You should do that. So I filled out the paperwork, had my colleagues sign the nomination process, and I was elected. And I've been on the Senate since May of 2019, serving as a general unit senator. And because of the changes with the staff senators this year, I am now officially the staff SSP senator. So that's how I sort of wormed my way into shared governance by opening my mouth.
I love it. And Kelly, you're starting us thinking about, right, the first question here is, when we hear this concept is, right, can I have a voice here? Am I eligible? Who can participate in this?
Exactly.
So thanks for starting us off with that.
I like the concept of speaking. Hi, everybody. It's nice to be here. Shared governance as a term looked really unattractive to me when I first joined this university, because it was part of a big binder of materials that was given to me, and they were like, here you go, here's the orientation. Things have changed. Much as Kelly says, even I, as a child, was warned multiple times by my mother, you ask too many questions, you will get into trouble. And ergo, my habit of showing up in every space that I am in and asking people questions, why is this working this way? Why are we doing things this way? Who gets to decide what is done? Is ultimately the driver behind my 5 million titles, along as Maggie just mentioned earlier. Shared governance to me is the ability for you, no matter who you are or where you're from, what your role is, you understand what your role is on this university, and you understand that there are ways for you to advocate for the things that you deeply believe in and to really participate in the decisions that are made at this university. Do not ever become the recipient of things that happen to you. Instead, be part of the solution, be part of that group, however you want to get your ways into it. So for me, when I think about shared governance now, it's the power of using my voice in ways in which I can give voice to other people, other folks that I represent, and make sure that any decisions that are made in rooms that I'm privileged to be a part in have the ability to hear from those people who could not be in those rooms. So shared governance is a responsibility, it's a privilege, it's not something to treat lightly, and certainly not somebody like me who just, wandered into a room one day and just, oh, okay, so this is what it is, let me do it. You gotta be thinking strategically about the ways in which you show up in your workspaces, in your personal spaces, in the ways in which you connect with people.
Priya, I really love that you frame this as shared governance as a mechanism for advocacy, for participation, but you rooted it in the interest in asking why. Why do we do things the way they do? Is this the best way we can do it? And then going from there. Yeah, Garrick, what can you add here?
That's all great points. And I think that for me, the idea is, on one hand, aspirational. I think it's something that we all who work at a university strive to do. If you look at our faculty searches every year, one of the things that's, I think, on all of them is a commitment to shared governance. So it's something that we value, something that we strive to do. And our organizations are, I think, if it's truly going to be shared governance, they're carefully thought about. They come from us. right? As we think about how we want to govern ourselves and fulfill our missions. I also, as in my role as department chair the last several years, though, I've been able to sort of experience different perspectives about shared governance. And as a political scientist, maybe I'm more prone to sort of seeing these things or looking for them probably. But a lot of, I think, one of the struggles that I see and experience myself is with a lot of the day-to-day decision-making conversations are very reactive. We're reacting to, as the president was saying earlier, changes in what's happening at the state level, changes in the budget, changes in at the federal level, and efforts to really undermine a lot of what of the work is being done at colleges and universities across the country, in my view. And so despite the fact that I think a lot of us think about, what are the ideal kinds of organizations so we can get people's perspectives and different experiences, often in the short run, there's a lot of pressure to respond. There's a time component. We have to make a quick decision, relatively quick decision. And I think that this really poses a challenge to us when we're trying to get things right and trying to get multiple perspectives.
Garrick, something I take away from listening to you is it's two things. One is we think about shared governance happens on multiple levels, right? You talk about in the department, we're doing this, and then maybe that goes up to your college or your unit, then to the division, then a university as a whole. But then also the issue of time, right? That we have this aspirational goal of engaging in particular ways, and oftentimes there's a sense of time pressure and of urgency in making certain decisions and coming together to move things forward. I'd like to invite you all next to share an example of a time when shared governance has resulted in a positive impact on and made a real difference for our campus. What comes to mind when you think about a really great example of shared governance and the result on our campus?
I can give it a shot. I sit on the Professional Standards Committee at the Academic Senate. We are policy-making bodies. As part of the Senate, I think both Dr. Barrera and Kelly have mentioned the really staggering amount of work that it took to get the staff inclusion policies played out. I think that is a great example of shared governance even within the microsome of the Academic Senate working. But personally, I have always been the kind of person who did not like to have these bigger picture things happen around me. I want to know why. I want to know what's in policy, what's in RTP policy, retention, tenure, promotion, what's in lecture policy. So from the Professional Standards Committee perspective, Maggie, I can really say that so many policies have come out of that body that touch our everyday lives, whether it's academic freedom, whether it is professional conduct, whether it's lecturer evaluation. And for me, that particular committee within the larger Academic Senate would be an excellent example of how shared governance, working together, bringing voices from across the colleges, across different aspects of the university would work.
Hello. So the example that comes to my mind, I was privileged to be on the campus planning board committee as one of my additional Senate assignments during the master plan process pre-COVID, if we can think back that far. So what I liked about that process, because I was part of that committee, the master plan committee, which was a different committee, would tell us about all of the ways that people could engage with this process. So they would have a setup in the student union meeting room where we could come and literally put Post-its on their mock-up of a potential future campus, and all of this led into that beautiful picture of the master plan that has just been approved. I felt like that was a way that the entire campus was engaged in the conversation, because everyone's going to have feelings about our workspace and what we need. And so if you limit that conversation, you're not getting the richness of all of the different voices of the people that are doing the momentum, pushing the agenda forward. And so I felt like they really were intentional about involving as many people's feedback as possible, because it was students, it was staff, it was faculty, it was administrators. Everybody could come through this process and make comments. And they continued that even through COVID with virtual presentations and website submissions and things like that. So I felt like it was a really strong example of shared governance on this campus.
That's great. I think, shared governance, I think as we've sort of been alluding to, it really, we can think about it as a broad concept, but it really does, matter what the role that you serve in the university and what it looks like to you on a day-to-day basis. And for me, I think my experience, and I think what I'm most proud of, and I think probably a lot of people in the room share this, is all the work that was done during the pandemic. And I think as a society, I think in many ways we want to try to move on from that, and it's it's really interesting because time just gets really compressed. But there too, so many people were reacting to changes in state policy, changes in county policy, the effects on student enrollment, modality changes. I remember listening, I think it was on the radio, to all the things that were being done to try to help students, in student housing. I mean, it was just a mess. And even in the College of Social Sciences, we have a great group of chairs that I've had the privilege of working with, and a dean's leadership team. But each department, depending on its size, depending on lots of different factors, experienced it in different ways, and it had different needs. And it was really important to be able to understand what the different units needed, and how different policy changes would or would not affect them. And so in my role as chair, I think I learned a lot about the importance of really trying to best understand where other units and individuals are coming from, and what their perspectives are. So I think it's really important.
All right, thank you for those examples. And the last question here before we pause and generate some dialogue is, thinking about someone sitting here listening to us who's either curious to dig further into this concept of shared governance, or maybe even bringing a bit of skepticism to it because of past experiences they may have had. What would you say to the question of why does shared governance matter, and how can people get more involved? Especially if, what if our examples are largely talking about different committees, right? And someone might be sitting here thinking, I got enough on my plate right now, 9 to 5, I'm not trying to get on more committees. But why is this important? Why does it matter? What are ways people can really start to share their voices and get more involved? And this better be rousing. We're trying to rally everyone here.
Well, I'll say two things about that. One related to Tabitha's 5-point list on how to support and be involved in the Senate, because it doesn't require that you be a senator, and it doesn't require that you be on a committee. It just requires that you pay attention to the things that are going on around you. And to Priya's point, don't let all of these changes happen to you. Be a part of the change, because as much as change is scary and uncomfortable, it's a lot more uncomfortable if you feel like somebody else is deciding what is changing in your day-to-day. So find the tables that the discussions are happening on, and even if you don't have a seat, find out who you can reach out to, ask questions, get information. I can tell you that it was terrifying joining the Senate. As someone who had been here a year and a half, and I knew nothing, but I learned so much. I was on the curriculum and research committee for the first couple of years and learned so much about just the process of how we create our degrees and change our degrees. And it's really helped me in my career counseling, because when I talk to students, I understand the process. So if they come to me with a complaint, I'm not saying I know everything, but I can at least talk to them about how that may have occurred, or why the College of Business concentrations share different coursework versus the College of Engineering has 13 distinct majors. And I know why, because I sat at that table. So find the table that's discussing the thing that you want to know more about, and reach out, because you'll get a response. And if you don't, keep digging.
Real talk?
100%.
Listen. And this is not just to anybody who's interested in shared governance. I'm talking directly to managers, leaders, people in positions of leadership. Shared governance as a concept is pretty, but it is not without a context that does not involve power differentials. So if you have people in your teams who want to participate in conversations, if you want to have those uncomfortable conversations where people bring up differing points, you got to create those spaces where people feel empowered and comfortable speaking up. Otherwise, we're going to have the same voices repeating the same points all the time. So it's not just a question of, I'm new in this university, I want to learn how to do shared governance. It's also the responsibility, as I mentioned earlier, and a privilege for folks in leadership positions to have those uncomfortable conversations, to open up those rooms. Simple things like managers, give your staff time off to go attend the staff council meetings. It's okay. They can do that. It's not a big deal. They should be encouraged to do those things. Similarly, if you're a chair of a department or a director of a school, you have a new assistant professor, maybe help that person create those meaningful connections, not just within your department or teams, but outside of the department and teams, so they get a better idea of how things are. Shared governance does not work in an atmosphere of mistrust. You gotta build those trust relationships. You gotta have those lines of communication that are clear. You gotta have a shared mission, vision, values that everyone buys in. Not just a document that lives on a website, but a living document that populates everything that we do every day and serves as direction. Now, I'm not an idiot. I know there are times when people gotta make decisions on the fly. There are things happening outside in this nation that require the people who lead this university to take those really, really difficult decisions. And I don't want them to wait on us to do the things that are important and that are necessary, but the things that take time, that affect all our lives. Let's figure out a way to make this leap off the page and off a WASC recommendation and actually make it a way of living and working here. I think walking into a room and making sure that I can say the things I want to say in an informed way, in a constructive way, not in an overly critical way, although sometimes that's fun too, is really important. But in order to get there, there's a lot of back-end work that needs to happen in order to have those ultimately difficult but good conversations. Sorry.
Well, I said be rousing, and okay, thank you, Priya. She brought it. Okay. Garrett, pressure's on now.
No, thanks, Priya, for that. I just to kind of, I think, emphasize a point. I think when we're going through times that are really difficult, stressful, when there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of change, even with AI, I know my faculty colleagues, there's just a lot of anxiety about it, about what it means for the classroom, what it means for control of curriculum and so forth. So it's in those times where even if you, I think if our leaders on our campuses, even if you feel like there are lots of conversations going on, and many times there's lots of conversations going on. But depending on where you are in the university, it could be a year or two later, and people are hearing that for the very first time, it's new to them. And I think it's in those cases, it's doubly important that we build our institutions or change our organizations to reflect the need that is present at that time. And just like we've seen changes in the academic senate to reflect changing interest and changing needs. And I think that's a really important thing to emphasize. And my last point is, just like in politics when people are really dismayed about what's happening, is to think locally. Think about what you can do in your department, in your college. I think that gives you a lot of sense of agency.
All of this is excellent, and just listening again, my 3 takeaways, kind of what I heard each of you say is, number 1, pay attention, 2, build trust, 3, embrace change and act locally. We'll add in 3.5 or 4. Okay, so the idea here had been to turn it back to you all. So we're gonna take 1 minute, and I wanna encourage you to turn to someone sitting next to you at your table, think about what you just heard. Is there something you want to ask more about, something you want to share in response to these questions, an observation, an example? We're going to have a little bit of time to hear some additional voices. So 1 minute, find your person you're going to talk to, lock eyes, and start talking. Okay. I love hearing all these voices in the room. I would love for the conversations to continue. I'm getting pressure, the look from UMC. We got to wrap it up. Okay. So this is all about keeping the momentum. Okay, so we're going to bring you back. And are there 1 or 2 brave souls willing to be vulnerageous? It's a combination of vulnerable and courageous, to share an additional thought, maybe a question. What is on your mind as we process this idea of shared governance together? Okay, we got a hand back here. Everyone, let's give it up. Someone is actually raising their hand. And the microphone will be coming to you.
I'm the chair of the Art and Art History Department, and I was telling my colleague here that we're a bunch of feral little beasties, and I don't think a vertical hierarchical model would work in the department. When I came in as chair, I had inherited kind of a very horizontal department. And one of the things that I've been surprised and delighted by, well, maybe frustrated at first, is that it is like a super slow process, right? When you're working with a shared governance model, it slows decision-making down. And that's just kind of part of the chemical makeup of that process. The thing that I've been surprised about and delighted by is the decisions that end up getting made. I think in retrospect, were not ones necessarily that would have been my choice, but ended up being the right call. And so I think that it's really hard as maybe somebody, as a researcher, as faculty, who might have more control over their research practice to engage in that model. But I would encourage everyone to stay open to the slowness and to the process, and kind of take note when you are surprised and delighted by outcomes.
Rhonda, thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, I really love the point you're making about meaningful engagement takes time. And sometimes the end result may look a little different from what we imagined when we first launched the discussion, but that's the meaning and the benefits of shared governance. So, thanks so much for sharing that. Okay, I think we have a hand over here. Yeah, Charlie.
So actually a question, and I wonder what experts and practitioners think about as sort of the best practices. I think we've had an interesting discussion about shared governance at the level of concepts and values, right, philosophies, which is very informative. I wonder what, what practices that put those values into place are seen as maybe the shiny examples, the lighthouses of shared governance at a university.
Would you like to answer that? Someone like to take a step? Go ahead, Priya.
Okay, great question. Clear, defined roles and responsibilities is absolutely the gold standard. People need to know what they are responsible for, what the ecosystem of the shared governance ecosystem is, so that they can understand that. Lines of communication, both top, down, vertical, cross-divisional, voices coming across clear. Now I'm sounding like I'm talking about ghosts, but making sure those lines of communication are open and, as Garrick earlier said, not reactive, but proactive. I'll turn to the next.
No, I mean, I think, unless Kelly or Garrick, you have something new to
my
add?
suggestion is more general. I think trying to build a culture in your program or your office that you're building trust, and I think that goes a long ways, even when you don't agree.
Yeah, I almost feel like in response to that question, this panel did such a great job with that third question of, again, I want to go back to pay attention, build trust, and embrace change, right? And then now adding this clear roles and responsibilities and owning our agency in the process. So this is just a small appetizer, an amuse-bouche of what is to come around shared governance here on our campus. So first of all, I want to thank President Teniente Mattson for inviting us to have this conversation. Thank you to my panelists. Can we please have a round of applause for them? And before the president comes up to share her final thoughts, I would like to emphasize that this is not a one-off conversation. This is the start of a much longer series of conversations that we'll be engaging in this year. And that's exemplified by what the president announced about her establishing a new committee focused on shared governance. And I just want to encourage you all to be part of these conversations, to speak up, to ask the good questions, ask the why, and join us in this wonderful journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of our panelists for that great conversation and some great takeaways. I think what I would say now is you can respond to some calls for some of the task forces that I talked about today. There'll be committees, employment committees, and of course, as you heard, Senate, joining the Senate or staff council. The first thing is get involved, as you heard. So thank you to the shared governance group for that great conversation. So before we break for happy hour, I want to take a moment to acknowledge some pretty amazing people from around our campus. I'm going to shout out some names. If you're in the audience, I'm going to ask you to stand up. Christina Luna from Academic Affairs, Enjoli Pachetta, Jennifer Tejeda, Bobby McConney, where are you? Stand up and stay standing. Where are the others that are standing? You were nominated for the excellent work that you all do, the four of you that I just named, in your administrative expertise, ensuring great work across departments, making connections across departments, and providing unwavering dedication. Those are the names from Academic Affairs, Christina, Enjoli, Jennifer, and Bobby. Thank you so much for your great work. In enrollment management, Jennifer Jackson Sclafani. She advances our enrollment technology and analysis, everything that's happening on our great enrollment. Dora Azua, strengthens our registrar systems for accuracy and efficiency. Jennifer and Dora, are you in the room? Stand up. Yes. There. Thank you. In Student Affairs, John Tucker, Alex Froelich Hankinson, our entire university team who opened 2 new buildings for more than 5,000 students, Joel Morales, who's involved in our retention strategies. Are you in the room? Yes, there, hello. Thank you so much. In IT, Andy Tremblay, he leads our projects like ChatGPT and Gemini. Tien Tran, Rashmi Kumar, Cole Gunter, are you all in the room? Please rise. In UMC, I know Mac is here, Michelle Smith McDonald, also known as Mac. Thank you, Michelle. Nominated for your complex global media strategy with skill and endurance. In University Advancement, Sabra Diradan. Sabra, thank you for all that you're doing and leading our frontline development team. In UP, Melanie Schlutzkes. Where are you, Melanie? Terry Ashley, Julie Paisant. 3 incredible people who are helping to lead our university personnel activities. Stacy White, where are you? I know she was here. She's guided our space optimization work. In R&I, Lauren Lee. Huge shout out for Lauren. Thank you, thank you. Stand up, Lauren, we see you. And in Title IX in the Office of the President, Kelsey Cleveland, who is doing such great work in our Title IX office. For everyone in the room and all of those shout outs, thank you for the impact that you're making. Thank you for your willingness to participate in shared governance and all the great things going on our campus. Now, as you heard from Magdalena, you have some blue tickets in your hand. Yes, they are good for, I see the bars open, one over there, maybe one over there. I see hands being raised and lots of great appetizers. Welcome back. Thank you for engaging, and I look forward to talking with you throughout the academic year.